Salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be recommending some cozy mysteries that I think are perfect to read for the fall season. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. It is the fall season, which I think is the best time for reading. Okay, we have monster romances, we have spooky ooky thrillers, but best of all, my favorite, we have cozy mysteries. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. Maybe I don't talk about it enough on my channel, but I love cozy mysteries. They are really such a comfort read for me, and honestly, there's nothing better than like a fall autumnal cozy mystery book or a winter Christmassy cozy mystery book. So I do have some awesome recommendations for you to pick up during the fall season. I think these recommendations will be perfect for people who love the genre, but also if you've never read a cozy mystery and you're not really sure what the genre entails or where you should start, I have some really good ones for you as well. If you don't know what a cozy mystery is, I do have a cozy mystery playlist here on my channel that I will leave down below. I have like a cozy mystery 101 video where I dive deep into the genre, explaining what it is, explaining some popular tropes. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave it down below. I might do an updated video to that though, because that was a couple years ago. But just like an overview, what cozy mysteries are, it is a subgenre from the mystery thriller genre. I always say this, but I like to say that cozy mysteries are essentially if the horror thriller genre and Hallmark movies had a baby. Had a cute little baby and made the cozy mystery subgenre. Books follow an amateur sleuth or a detective that is somehow connected in a murder, and they're trying to figure out the mystery throughout the book. It typically does take place in a small town or small community, kind of giving that cozy vibe. You can find many different subgenres within the genre as well, like baking cozies, knitting cozies, paranormal cozy mysteries with vampires and witches and ghosts. Typically, authors will surround the book around a theme or a hobby that is kind of paired with the idea of being cozy. The mystery covers are also very cute and warm Hallmark vibes. They typically have like fun puns as titles. Essentially the concept is you are getting the mystery aspect and following that story along with the characters, but it's not gory. There's no jump scares. Gore and death happens off page. It is meant to be very cozy, kind of like you're snuggling up and watching a Hallmark movie, which is why I always use that as a comparison. I know I talk a lot, but hopefully I explained it to you guys in a way that makes sense. And if you've never picked up the genre, I really think you would love it. I do. So let's go ahead and hop in on some recommendations that I think are so perfect to read during the fall time. The first book I want to recommend is The Pint of No Return by Ellie Alexander. This is a part of her Sloan Cross mystery series, which is a series that follows our heroine Sloan, who owns and works at a brewing company. It's technically the second book in the series. You can read cozy mysteries out of order. They tend to be very long series, like some books have 20-30 books in one series, but you can read them as standalones because each book should have its own individual mystery. The benefit of reading them in order is you kind of just follow along with the side characters and their lives, but you can pick this one up on its own if you wanted to, which is why I'm recommending it as is. The reason I'm recommending this one is because it does take place during Oktoberfest and very much gives those fall vibes. The Pint of No Return follows our heroine Sloan, who is going through a difficult time in her life. She is recently divorced, does have a teenage son, so she is also trying to learn how to co-parent. The story is set in Leavenworth, Washington, which is very popular, known for their breweries. I don't know why I cannot say that word, brewery. Anyways, and it is peak season in their small town because it's Oktoberfest. Lots of festivals and tourists and just overall a really busy time for our heroine. Makes it even more complicated and busy is that a filming crew actually comes to interview and do a documentary on the different breweries in town, also film Oktoberfest. The filmmaker in charge of this production is a total diva and has multiple problems with people in his crew and people in town, and one day Sloan actually finds him dead. She has to figure out what is going on, who killed the filmmaker, and also make sure that her business does not get a bad reputation in the process. I absolutely loved this one. It is so freaking good. Ellie Alexander is one of my favorite cozy mystery authors of all time. Probably my favorite, to be honest. I've read the majority of her backlist and I always enjoy the way that she crafts her books. If you're familiar with her Bake Shop mystery series, this one feels a little bit more adult. Our heroine is a little bit older. She's at a different place in her life. There's also a very subtle romance subplot in here. She has quite a connection with her boss at the brewery, so you get to follow that storyline as well. And then obviously you guys know I love the Bake Shop mystery series. Like, there are so many books in the series. I think there's like 18 as of right now, and she's still writing them. And I've read all of them. I've given almost all of them 5 stars. First book is Meet Your Baker. It follows our heroine Jules, who is going through a difficult place in her life, like most cozy mystery heroines are. She's a professional pastry chef working on a cruise line, but her and her husband are going through some marital problems. So she heads back home to her hometown, which is in Ashland, Oregon. Her family owns a bakery, so she goes back to help them with their small business. Ashland, Oregon is very well known for their Shakespeare theater. There is a theater company that does different Shakespeare plays that they're really well known for. I am really attached to the series and all of the side characters. There are quite a few like fall themed ones. Like a popular one is Catch Me If You Candy, A Batter of Life or Death, Caught Red-Handed, and then also On Thin Icing. Obviously, I recommend every book by L.A. Alexander. It will not be a Sam cozy mystery video if I'm not recommending L.A. Alexander. So that's that on that, but let's move on to some of the other recommendations. Another one that I really love is Homicide in hardcover by Kate Carlisle. This is the first book in the Bibliophile mystery series. Obviously, you can tell by the title, it is a bookish cozy. It follows our heroine Brooklyn, whose job is to restore classic books. Life is pretty quiet and surrounded by books all the time until one day she's at a party and she actually finds her mentor Abraham in a puddle of his own blood. He is clutching a historic manuscript that he was working on, and it's kind of rumored that this manuscript was cursed, and before he dies, the last words that he says is, "Remember the devil." Our heroine has absolutely no idea what that means, but she quickly finds herself a prime suspect in this mystery, so she has to clear her name and also find out what happened to her beloved mentor. She ends up working with her best friend to solve the mystery. This one also has a slight romance subplot with the detective on the case, but it's very small. There are definitely cozy mysteries that have romance subplots or are heavier on the romance. Keep in mind they're usually always slow burn and closed door, but they are fun subplots to follow, and I think this one is a great start to the series. Another overall series that I think is fun to read during the fall time is the Cookie Cutter Shop mystery series by Virginia Lowell. I'm holding up the first book, which is Cookie Dough or Die, but there are some other books that take place during fall and winter. First book follows our heroine Olivia, who lives in a small town, and she owns a shop that specializes in cookie cutters. The shop is literally called the Gingerbread Shop, which, like, what gets more cozy and fall than that? She runs her business with her best friend Maddie, and both of them are pretty shocked to discover that a businesswoman in town that they also considered a really close friend, her name was Clarice, is actually found dead. Now, Clarice came from old money and she had a lot of money, but she was also a really close friend to Olivia. However, her entire family is surprised when the will is read. It is found out that Clarice left Olivia a lot of money in the inheritance and also some vintage cookie cutters that are also worth a lot of money. The people in her family are absolutely pissed at Olivia, and she quickly becomes the prime suspect in the mystery because she had so much to gain by this woman's death. Now she has to work with her best friend to keep her business afloat, but also to find what happened to one of her very close friends. Cozy mystery is pretty humorous because the best friend is very quirky and silly. Our heroine Olivia, not a lot of people like, from what I can tell by the Goodreads reviews, because she's a little judgmental, a little bit naive, but I don't know why I really love reading about her because she feels so real, and I kind of just like how she is as an amateur sleuth. Like, she's not a professional detective. No, I just find something very endearing about the main character and this series in general. Right, it would not be a cozy mystery video during the fall time if I didn't mention some paranormal cozies, right? One of my favorite paranormal cozy mystery series is the Vampire Knitting Club by Nancy Warren. This book follows our heroine Lucy, who at the beginning of the story gets a call that her grandmother has died. Now, she is absolutely devastated. She was very close to her grandmother and actually had just recently spent some time with her. So she's headed to Oxford, where her grandmother lived, to attend the funeral, and when she gets there, she realizes that her grandmother actually left her knitting shop to her in the will. Her grandmother owned a very cozy knitting shop in Oxford. Now the business is under our heroine's name. However, our heroine does not know how to knit whatsoever. She's quite terrible at it, so she doesn't even know if she wants to keep this small business. More secrets start to unfold the longer she stays there. She realizes that she comes from a very long line of witches. A huge vampire population in this town that was also very close to her grandmother, so they're all kind of working together to solve this mystery on who murdered her grandma. The mystery series has a little bit of everything. I love our amateur sleuth. Again, a lot of people don't like her because she's a little quirky and a little flawed, But I love that type of heroine because, again, she just feels so real, and I like reading in her point of view of how she's kind of unfolding the mystery at hand. It's filled with a lot of magic and paranormal activity, and of course it's cozy because it takes place in a knitting shop. Like, come on. I wish I knew how to knit. I don't, so I'll just read about it instead. But yeah, this one is a really good one. Nancy Warren has another series that revolves around witches. It's called The Great Witches Baking Show, and this series follows a heroine who is a witch. Obviously her passion is baking, and at the start of the series she goes on a show that is very like reminiscent of the Great British Baking Show. I love the Great British Baking Show. I watch it with my family all the time, so if you like that show you will really like this series because it has the baking cozy aspect but also the paranormal aspect, so that one is also pretty fun. Okay, so the last cozy mystery series that I'm going to recommend in this video is by Juliet Blackwell. This is her haunted home renovation mystery series, and the first book is If Walls Could Talk. The book follows our heroine, an amateur sleuth, Melanie, who has really made a name for herself in her business because she renovates houses, specifically old historical Victorian houses in San Francisco / the Bay Area. Getting a contract to renovate an old dilapidated Victorian mansion, but things get complicated when she gets there and finds the owner of the house dead. Yeah, the property management company still wants her to renovate the home, but Melanie, our heroine, has a secret, and that is she can see and talk to ghosts. So she can still see the owner of the house who had been murdered, and he doesn't remember what happened to him, so he is begging her to help him find justice. So the two of them work together to solve the mystery. I mean, this one is perfect for fall time. Our heroine can literally talk to ghosts. It is spooky without being scary because I'm a scaredy cat, okay? I have seen a lot of paranormal activity, a lot of ghosts in my life, so I don't typically like reading about them, but this one is not scary, okay? It's cute, it's spooky ooky and a fun fall read, but there's like no jump scares, which is my perfect book and why I always gravitate towards cozy mysteries. All right, those are just a handful of some of my favorite cozy mysteries to read during the fall time. Let me know if you would like to see more cozy mystery recommendations. I have a lot, and I think I want to do one just dedicated to like witches, paranormal activity. I mentioned some in this video, but there are a lot more, obviously. So if you are interested in reading more cozy mysteries, I do have a cozy mystery book club. We are called Teacups and a Murder. I host it with my very good friend Spencer over at Intentionally Bookish. She is the expert at all things cozy mystery, so make sure to go follow her if you want more recommendations. But we host a seasonal book club, so we read books quarterly based on the season: summer, spring, fall, winter, and we will pick a cozy mystery theme based on that season. Fall, we're going to be reading Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant by Darcy Hannah, and that live show will be on Spencer's channel on September 22nd. You can read it with us, you can catch the live show on replay, whatever you guys want to do, but we would love to have you join us if you're interested in reading more cozy mysteries. We do have an Instagram page where we announce like all of our book club picks and our live show dates, so yeah, we're actually reading this book in particular because my dad loves this series. We read a Christmas cozy in this series, and my dad loved it so much that he was begging us to pick Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant. This one follows our heroine who owns a bake shop in a very small town, actually lives in a lighthouse that is haunted. Because of it being haunted and all of the lore, she lets her best friend host a mystery festival during the Halloween season. It's supposed to be a really fun like mystery themed party, but it goes wrong when they find a dead body, so she has to figure out what's going on. It's a really fun series. I love Darcy Hannah, so yeah, join us if you want to read that with us. Give me all of your cozy mystery recommendations as well. I would love to check out all things cozy. If you stayed this long in the video and you liked it, leave me an emoji. What emoji should we use? Let's do the little magnifying glass, like the magnifying glass, because we're talking about amateur sleuths and detectives. That would be a fun emoji to use. So if you stayed this long, leave the magnifying glass down below so I know we're bookish besties. And I always thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!